Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 5:10. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Nikki Broom, Veronica Del Cerro and Katie Rowlands. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you all for coming in. If you are listening at home and you want to get involved, you absolutely can. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day. It's a wonderful life.
We are going to start by talking about wine. Excuse me. Our love of rosé has been steadily growing in recent years, but it seems we don't yet understand what makes a good one. Britons are wasting more than £103 million worth of rosé every year because it is deemed the wrong shade. Nearly 1 in 3 adults have turned down the tipple because it was either too pale or too dark, and more than half of those asked said the colour is an important factor when choosing a bottle. A wine expert said so many of us instantly think a pale rosé is automatically better, but that is just not true. The colour is about style, not quality. This is an interesting one. I've talked about this a lot with Charlotte, our wine expert who comes on the radio, and she said a lot of her suppliers there that she's been supplying for years with Spanish rosé, a more traditional, darker colour, have said, nope, sorry, we don't want that anymore because our clients want the pale rosé. Yeah. They literally are going by the colour. But I have tried a few cheaper pale rosés that aren't very nice at all, proving it's really not about the colour. It's not
about the colour.
No.
It's just, I think the pale one is so fashionable.
It looks nice.
It looks very chic. You know, Whispering Angel kind of really upped it. You know, their marketing on Instagram was so zhuzhy and so, you know, like south of France, Saint-Tropez, and it sort of blew up. So the pale one, it just looks more elegant. But the taste, you can get some nice dark coloured rosés.
Yeah.
It's just people typically go out and they're, let's get a bottle of rosé, and they want blush.
Yeah.
So it sells more, and it does look nicer.
Yeah. I'd love to. I always find it exciting and interesting, the idea of doing blind tasting for people that say, I like champagne but I don't like cava, or I like a pale rosé but I don't like the darker Spanish rosé. I think it would be really interesting for everybody to do blind tastings and see how many people really knew the difference by taste as opposed to looking at it.
I think the dark ones do taste heavier though, don't they? They do. I think they have a different...
In general,
I think they have a different taste, but it's I think half the time people don't even know. You're right. If you do a blind thing, you'd be like, I like that.
Yeah.
So that's a dark one.
I wonder how many people could honestly. I'd like to think I could, but I would wonder how many people would know the difference between champagne, prosecco, and cava.
Me, I would.
I think some people would, but
Is rosé a different grape? Like, what's the grape?
No, not necessarily. No, often it's Pinot Noir. It's often a grape that is used for red wine.
That's like,
but it's the skin they keep in for longer that makes it the pink colour. Yeah, as opposed to white. Interesting. Okay. Red Bull ban for under 16s. Youngsters swarming shelves to buy cans of Red Bull after school is an all too familiar experience for shopkeepers, but it is to become a thing of the past thanks to a ban on the sale of energy drinks to under 16s. From April next year, the policy will apply to beverages containing more than 150 milligrams of caffeine per litre. This will be covering sales in shops, vending machines and online.
Completely agree.
Totally agree. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre because a lot of it has been marketing at kids for years. So
I don't know why any human needs that amount of caffeine in one go.
No.
Especially if you're under 16, you just need to go to bed.
Yes,
it's crazy.
I suppose if your parents aren't encouraging you to go to bed, perhaps you're just going to be exhausted all the time. But the solution isn't a temporary solution to drink lots of caffeine all in one go.
No.
Thing is, I think that because my kids are 14 and 15, so very much fall into this bracket of let's go and get a Monster. They drink in London, Monster, and more than Red Bull, because Red Bull was quite more my generation. They still sell it, but they all drink Monster, and the other one is it relentless. I can't remember. Anyway, they stink. They're disgusting. They're full of caffeine, and I don't think they're necessarily drinking because they're like, oh, I feel a bit tired. It's just a fashionable drink, a bit like, you know, vaping. They market the vapes at the kids. They market these drinks at the kids, and they all go, oh, I want a Monster. Think they're a bit grown up, and they're disgusting, and they stink, and they're so bad for them. And I will not let them in my house.
Good for you.
My kids obviously. My kids can come in, but the drinks can't. Because the shop near us sells them, and I'm like, I'm like, don't buy them, and don't. They're I really don't like them. I really welcome this ban.
I've never got energy drinks.
No, I don't think I ever have either.
No, vodka Red Bull was often a big thing. I think still is for some people. But every time I'd have the odd sip, it's horrible.
And it's so artificial. It's gross. Yeah. It's gross.
But now they're doing it for you know, it just depends on who they're marketing it to, because now they also have half of it is that with that can, and then you're going to see the other can that's going to be marketed for, you know, it's supposedly natural, and it's also all very good for you, and so it's the same thing. So if you see your parents drinking it, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. This I thought was a fascinating one. From Gordon Ramsay to Simon Cowell, celebrities have made a name for themselves for being unabashedly rude. Unabashedly rude. But as a nation, we are actually pretty polite. And even when Britons are being insulting, they usually don't mean it. I think that's ridiculous. I think people are rude, and if they're not, they're not. I think it's a bizarre thing to say that British people aren't rude or can't
I think
be rude.
Culturally, I think, for example, in restaurants and stuff, like they're you know, oh, excuse me, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry,
you apologise when you're complaining.
Could you warm my food up, please? You know, whereas you might go somewhere in France and be like, I think the way we phrase things in Britain, because I know Spanish people are much more direct than British people.
Yeah.
Even when I see them in the supermarkets, the way they speak to the kids, do you know what I mean? And I like that. I think it's great. But I think culturally, British people are more. They're just more. You can still be rude, but it's more passive aggressive, a bit more polite. You know, wrapped up in a different kind of
different ways of doing it.
You know, the way they speak. Yeah.
I think British people can be a lot more fluffy with their language and take a lot longer to get to their point. Yes. So I suppose that could be deemed as rude, because sometimes if you're used to dealing with more direct people, or perhaps you're autistic or something like that, perhaps you don't understand what they're saying to you. And because I've been around lots of international people, Eastern European, Germans, I sometimes prefer communicating with those types of people, because if they're not happy with something, they'll tell you, whereas if they are, they'll tell you. Whereas with British people, they're sometimes a little bit awkward and they don't want to confront that negativity, so they'll delay telling you anything, and then that, in a way, I read that as that seeming a bit rude.
Yeah, I think their energy is not delayed at all. Their words might be. The words might be like covering it, but the energy and what they are, their true intention seems. And I guess that's the definition of passive aggressive.
Yeah, there is passive aggressive in English. Like, oh, sorry, would you mind?
Yeah,
and you're like,
it is funny how we do that.
That's what they're known for.
Yeah,
they invented passive.
Can I just say though, Northerners aren't like that. If you go up north, I mean, I'm Northern, and Northerners just like, hang on, that's not right. You know, it's the further you go down south.
I'm Welsh as well, so I think I'd like to group myself with the Northerners.
No, it's true. So Northerners.
We can ignore the South English people.
Yeah, but the Southerners.
Even though I went to university in South of England.
No, it gets as you get further down south, they get more polite. You know, like Charlie's like much more polite than I would be, for example.
I get it with the restaurant thing, because if I've ever had to complain, say, could this be heated up, or this wasn't what I ordered, or anything that you need to say something about, I'm lacing it with sorries.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for the wait staff. I've been a waitress before, so I feel bad for them.
It's not their fault.
Particularly if the restaurant's really busy, and I'd never want to be seen as being rude, because I would never go, this is cold.
Yeah.
You know, you say, I'm really sorry, but this is actually a bit cold. Would you mind heating it up a bit? Thank you so much. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I would say it. I wouldn't go, this is cold. Can you heat it up?
And would Spanish people just go, take it away, it's cold. I mean, they're more direct.
I mean, direct, but not rude.
Not rude. Yeah, but just more straight.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be rude, does it? It doesn't have to be rude just to be more straight.
Something that one of my Spanish friends has said many times is Spanish people say please and thank you a lot less than British people.
Yeah.
Not because they're rude, but they don't need to say please and thank you. You know, if you're in a
different
restaurant,
culture,
the waiter brings you the sugar, we would say thank you.
Manners,
then you bring the food, thank you. Every time they bring you something, a British person would typically say thank you. The Spanish generally think that's ridiculous. You only need to say thank you once. You don't need to keep saying it. And that's not a rude thing. That's just a cultural thing.
Yeah,
I guess also when you're saying cultural thing, it's a status situation that is different in every culture, and how it's in, I think different cultures understand status more, and it's part of what we accept and not. And it's just disguised in different ways, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
And then recently I went to Estonia, and then when you're in a hotel, for example, the staff don't regularly say hello to you, and strangers don't regularly say hello to each other. And that's more of a different culture again, and I think it's sometimes they think they don't necessarily trust strangers and they don't want to intrude on your peace, so they might think that British people talking incessantly, that's rude because that's disrupting them all the time.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Air and energy in the world
to talk about the weather or
it's still your
quote
ego.
unquote unnecessary things.
For sure.
But I've only come to terms with this since I've been around lots of different cultures. I didn't think like this 7 or 8 years ago.
But that's why it's
when I was living in Britain.
That's the thing. It's fascinating to understand different cultures, and really important, particularly when we're in somebody else's country, to not expect people to behave how we behave just because it's normal to us. It doesn't mean that it's right.
Yes.
It's just how we've been brought up.
I sometimes get reverse culture shock as well when I go back to Britain. My friend told me off the other day, she said, "You're talking too loudly in this cafe. You need to be a bit quieter." I said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I know. Sorry.
Very loud.
It is interesting.
You're talking on the subway, like, shut up. Like,
exactly. People are normally quiet on the subway. Really?
Yeah, we don't talk on the tube.
Unless you're Northern or Welsh.
Yeah. I talk to everybody, and then you're
They say a woman's work is never done, and now a survey has revealed that females crave around 2 hours of me time to get through the day. However, they usually cannot get it due to always their partners and endless household chores. How do we feel about me time? Is it something that you crave, want to do, don't have time to do, aren't that bothered about?
I have to do it every morning. I go for a walk for at least an hour on my own, headphones in, podcast, tunes, whatever, just to get out and
have a bit of me time.
Yeah, me time. Yeah, I do it every day. I personally need it, and I do it here by the sea, which is even better. London, I'm by the river, and it's so. I absolutely 100% need it, and I make myself do it every day at a certain time. So it's done then. So rather than going, I've got to do this, got to do that, it becomes a habit. So get up, just get out and do it, and it's so lovely. I think it's really, really important.
I think every human needs some me time.
Yeah.
I sometimes don't have time to do it every day, but most days I do. But then on the other end of the spectrum, sometimes I'm alone too long as I live on my own. So sometimes I need the company of others. So I think it's a good balance of being with friends, family, and being alone.
I was going to say, I think I start at me time and then I have other time. I'm always me time. I don't know, like I couldn't. My brain would explode. Like it's like too much noise, and then I have to come back to me. So that's my
your base is me time.
Exactly.
And then you add little bits on as and when.
It's like okay. Then,
you're flipping the coin there. Aren't you? It's all about me. You can see me later. That's fine.
Like for me, a hen party spanning 3 days in a place I'm not familiar with 10 girls I don't know very much. That's too much. Yeah. So I have to integrate me time into each day, which also doesn't necessarily bode well with a group of British people who all live in Britain.
Yeah, I mean, it's like focus. It's just focus on what, like, to have your head be straight on what's going on in the world for you today, and not.
I think it's interesting though, if you live on your own. Because this kind of intimates that me time is, my husband's driving me mad, so he's, to get away from your partner. Yeah. So because you live on your own, because I don't, because I've got kids and stuff, but if you live on your own, interestingly, is it would me time be then sort of, you've got your own space at home, I'm going to go for a massage, or I'm going to go and get my nails done, or is it just me time at home reading a book, so you're not doing what you normally do?
I don't know yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I haven't really proactively thought of it like that before.
But
I think that's another...
taking time for you.
I think having a massage is another level up to just sitting at home.
Self-care, that becomes
self-care.
Because if you're sat at home, you're also having to think of all the different chores that you have to do and no one else is doing because you just live on your own.
Coming out of your normal...
Probably, yes.
But the moment that you put your phone on, you're not in me time anymore. The moment that you go online, you're totally bombarded with other people's thoughts.
Yeah.
It's
a fascinating one because it's true. It will mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
If you do have a busy household with kids and things like that, having 10 minutes on the sofa on your phone or watching television or whatever could be me time for that person because they haven't got kids bothering them. They're not doing chores and they're just zoning into a book or TV or radio. That could be could be me time.
I think that's the point. You define it for what constitutes me time for you, I guess.
And
so
for others,
it's subjective.
It will be getting out of the house and going for a walk
getting
or
out
a
of the house,
massage.
It's getting away from everybody.
It's a fascinating one. There isn't a clear definition.
No. But you do what makes you happy.
I think mine is people not needing anything from me for an hour or two.
Yeah.
But if you've got something pending that someone's relying on you for, you can't necessarily not check your phone for a couple of hours, so it's difficult, isn't it? You might need to check in on your phone, and therefore you can't fully switch off and be in me time. Whereas if you don't have a responsibility for a few hours, you could perhaps throw your phone away, go on a walk, and get a massage. That's probably ideal.
Oh, wow. Now we're talking.
Tick, tick, tick. Yes, it's funny, isn't it? With our phones, we feel like we need to respond all the time. I don't think many people. You're shaking your head. You're like, nah.
No. I mean, it's a very difficult habit, but it's like to try to limit external stimuli, or at least to what I can control with it to be mine. And so the minute that you just have no control over of how anything's going to go, like at least you can be prepared for that. And for me, it's just about having.
I like limiting it for the first half an hour to an hour. So I try not to read or listen to anything.
Yeah. When you wake up,
yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And then when I'm feeling...
most people reach for their phone immediately.
Where I'm feeling in dire straits and I'm feeling a bit anxious, I sometimes put, I think I've said this before, a randomizer on my internet Wi-Fi cable, and then it randomly turns it on and off throughout the day. So then I just get no internet.
That's weird.
Do you know what I did recently that I would advise, actually?
You're not sure about that, are you?
That's crazy.
And then it will force me to get up and go out the house or read a book rather than responding to people's messages and scrolling.
Yeah, if your internet's off, you can't.
Did you say
do that to the kids, actually?
The ding, apparently in psych research, is that just hearing the ding on your phone just starts to...
Oh, yeah.
I have no notifications.
I don't. My phone's been on silent for like 10 years or something. I never... Yeah, I need to turn it on for the alarm if I need it.
Even if I hear somebody else, if you're out to eat or something and you hear it on another table, you're like ding.
Like take the phone off the table.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh.
Goodness me. Hannah, one thing I will say just quickly before I went to a concert at Royal Albert Hall, which was Ministry of Sound, but classical.
Yeah.
I didn't take my phone because it was an ode to the 90s. I thought, you know what? We didn't have phones in the 90s.
Yes.
So I went in the 90s, completely embraced it, drove there, didn't really drink, drove there. Albert Hall's fantastic venue. Concert with no phone. Best concert.
Wow.
Because everybody goes to concerts and does this, does that.
Can't
you're not watching, you're not
doing that.
I just thought, this is how it used to be. Honestly, I would really advise it. It was so, I thought, I left off, but that was the best concert I've been to in years because you don't feel the pressure.
It all.
Yeah, because you're always like, oh, that's good. I'll get that for Instagram. Or I'm going to send that to Hannah. And it's literally, you was totally immersed in what's going on. It was wonderful.
Oh, well done. Yeah, we should all try that. Let's take a break.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Nikki Broom, Veronica Dalcero and Katie Rowlands. Holidaymakers are splashing out £158 on glow-ups to look their best on the beach. More than 4 in 5 women said they'd give themselves a makeover, and 3/4 of men said they would groom themselves for their holiday. Hair colouring, facials, manicures and pedicures were popular among the people surveyed. Now, this is an interesting one because we live in a holiday resort. So this is just normal life for me, quite honestly. Getting your hair done, getting your nails done. I mean,
But it's not for everyone. Everybody has to get their hair done. You mean maybe...
Well,
I'm
that's what
quite the
I thought.
opposite, to be honest.
Okay, you're quite low maintenance, would you say?
In some respects, yeah.
Okay.
Appearance-wise, I probably am.
Clarify.
Anna, who's on the radio, once called me the least groomed person in terms of what I care about, in terms of what I do.
But you're proud of that.
I love it.
Well, I'm changing a little bit. I'm becoming a little bit more interested, but I probably cut my hair once a year. That's it.
Yeah.
And I get my sister to cut my hair. I never really get my nails done. Get my sister to do my eyebrows. Don't really care.
Do you like
about
my polar opposite? I've literally got my colour done the day before we left. That I had booked in the diary for like 6 months. Mani, pedi, waxing, hair, nails.
Yeah.
Like everything. Everything. Even Lottie's, my daughter's the same, she's like, but she's having a pedi here.
Yeah.
Like, you just get it all, literally, but you have to, I get it literally done, I have my hair cut as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But maybe once a month for me, I feel like putting on makeup, or once every 2 weeks, and then it makes a big difference. So I don't know.
exactly.
nice.
It's not like an everyday thing for me.
I'm not too bothered about makeup, but actually sort of hair and feeling nice. It's just, I think but I love all that stuff.
Yes.
But my sister couldn't give her monkeys. So it's not a sort of, it's like, not
Just
enough, but
everybody's
it's just me, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's no right or wrong. It's
no.
just people being different.
And I think if you're actually throwing yourself into the sea properly and properly going swimming, you can't really be doing your hair and nails all the time.
No, that's true.
Is that what you do?
Depends how you...
What is it? A surfer or something?
No. I like loads of different sports. So my favourite things is to throw myself down a mountain on a bike, or jump off a rock, or go upside down.
I think I don't agree. I think you can still be sporty and still do things like that. Because my daughter's a hockey goalkeeper.
Yes.
That's quite intense. And she's got playing hockey goalkeeping for like national team with like big long white nails.
Wow.
So you can do it.
Yes, apart from when
it's a bit stereotypical, but it's sporty and you can't be.
If it's 30 degrees, I think a lot of Spanish people, I don't know, you're sweating it all off. You can't really be wearing makeup or I don't know.
Exactly.
No, not makeup, but you can still get your hair cut and your
goes on
colour done.
vacation,
Of
which
course.
is that question.
Sorry,
right?
Veronica, say that
I said
again.
I don't think she's playing
she played in a match at the weekend with her nails done.
Wow.
On
No,
vacation.
No, she's in London, but she had her nails done playing a match.
Right. So but you're talking about coming to the beach.
Yeah,
right?
people going on holiday.
And I guess that's the other question. It's like where you want to go on holiday. I think to me, I would go on holiday, like you're saying, it would be to a remote island where I don't have to go out and I'm totally relaxed. It's like, because going out is like working.
Really?
So
I know what you mean by certain athletes dressing up, because I have noticed in athletics in Britain, they are having their hair done and their nails done, and they're sort of the 100-metre sprinters and the long jumpers. There is a big trend
the
with the
tennis
girls.
players, the Venus Williams, they're like,
really.
like,
Yeah.
It depends
so you
on
can do it.
Yeah.
It depends on the sport, doesn't it? With the nails, I've got lots of friends who play netball, and they have to keep their nails
that's
really
true. That's true.
short.
When Lottie plays that, that's true.
Yes.
So they'd like to have long, pretty nails, but they'll get their nails painted sometimes, but they're really, really short because you need to be careful. So it depends, doesn't it? But I wouldn't change any of this as to whether I was going on holiday or not, because I'm doing it all the time. So that's the.
But you do notice a tourist though sometimes when they're in the area, because sometimes it might be 17 degrees in say April, and they've got their sort of matching swimsuit and their matching 3-piece outfit on, and they're walking outside and it's freezing, but they've got to wear their summer outfit they've spent £100 on before they came out. And you look at them, they're just walking down the street, and I think, it's not quite warm enough to be wearing that.
It's raining.
It's when you see people who look desperately uncomfortable, and you're like, so you don't look good. If you're trying and you look uncomfortable, it's like, that's not like rule number one to me.
Yeah,
and you
be
get screams, right? Exactly.
Yeah, and you can see it a lot with the young girls, particularly that are constantly fixing their bra straps or picking that thing out of their bum, or
I think people trying to do whatever they want.
Yes.
Honestly, and not judge.
No, but they don't know. But from the point of view of not looking comfortable.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They're wanting to look perfect,
Exactly.
so they're adjusting all the time.
Right.
The hair touching, I've noticed, is a big thing. Lots of young girls constantly touching their hair. I've noticed
I do that
recently. Yeah, you do.
I'm really old.
You're not. Stop it.
No, I always
Stop
play
it.
with my hair though.
We're going to take another break.
Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Nikki Broom, Veronica Del Cerro and Katie Rowlands. This is an interesting one about what to wear to work in the summer. This is an issue happening in Japan. Female office workers have complained of leg hair harassment after men were encouraged to wear shorts to work. Employees in Tokyo have been told they can ditch their suit and tie in favour of casual clothes as temperatures reach 40 Celsius in Japan. However, etiquette dictates that women are still expected to wear tights in the office. They have coined the term sunihara, or leg hair harassment, after taking offence at the sight of their colleagues' calves. Well, that's a bit unfair, isn't it? So the men can wear shorts, whereas the women still have to wear tights.
But it's mostly
okay.
It's mostly unfair towards men in most situations, though.
Yeah, it's normally the other way around, isn't it? That women can wear skirts and men always still have to wear trousers.
Tights in hot weather be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Can't stand tights.
No.
It'd be nice.
No. I mean, I think we're used to seeing it here all the time. I think men, depending on the job, but even like office jobs, real estate, things like that, I think often in the summer men could be in shorts, like nice tailored shorts.
Yeah, with like a linen shirt or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even a smart short sleeve shirt or a smart polo top,
shirt,
things like that. I think that's absolutely fine. I disagree.
But again, that sort of sounds like a cultural thing, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because you couldn't say to your sort of European company, women have to wear tights in summer. They'd be up in arms. They'd be like, no way. The men wear shorts with no tights, then we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's obviously just,
I totally think there should be a sort of winter uniform and summer uniform.
I agree.
It's like school.
When it comes, well, for jobs that require.
I wonder why they have to wear shorts. They're encouraged to wear shorts. Do they not have air conditioning? I wonder.
I don't know. Well, they're just making the men more comfortable than the women. Clearly, they're allowing the men to be more comfortable.
Yeah, but in the States, there's so much air conditioning that you have to wear like winter clothes when you
Really? Because it's really cold.
Yeah, always. It's freezing when you go into places. You're
how funny.
Yeah.
But for example,
then you go out and you're really hot.
in a lot of the local schools, they're very outdoor places, so you need to make sure that you're wearing cool clothes, which is probably quite casual in comparison to, say, a British school. But otherwise, you'd be boiling all the time because you have to go outside to get to the next classroom and things like that. So I do think it's important that both men and women are able to feel comfortable so they can do their job properly.
Yeah. It is fascinating, isn't it, the different culture. And aircon, you're right, makes a huge difference.
Right.
I always, whenever I'm in the UK, I always tend to wear layers a lot more.
Yeah.
So being outside and needing a top, a jumper, a coat, a scarf, but then you might go into the restaurant and you literally pretty much take it all off because it's too hot. So you need all the different layers depending on where you are.
Yeah, because in the States they don't walk. Like you would go from your office to your car into your house and literally into your garage. You could not go outside. I'm not even kidding. Like they'd be like, yeah, you're right. They won't walk. So it will never feel
what it's like
because
outside.
People actually, there's actively like the allergies or whatever. It's always in air conditioning. So that's going to change.
It does make a difference.
But if you're in New York and walking, it just depends on where you are.
Yeah, I'm constantly saying here, people are saying to me, "Oh, it's hot today, isn't it? It was a hot one." I'm like, "Was it?" If you're in work, I can see what the weather's like, but I'm not feeling it. I'm in air condition all day, and it's only when I leave at 6 o'clock I'm like, "Whoa!" Someone put the hairdryer on, and suddenly you realise.
Oh my god.
Okay, many of us spend decades striving for the perfect balance of ambition, family life, happiness, and financial security. But a truly balanced life is most likely after the age of 60.
I think that sounds reasonably sensible, because when you're 60, you've kind of done most of your work. You've probably got a pension. You're mature. Do you know what I mean? You've probably got stable life. Your kids have gone. If you have kids, your kids have gone. Do you see what I mean? You kind of then have more time to explore doing stuff on your own or doing stuff with your partner or whatever, because the stage of life that you're at lends itself to having more balance, because you're not getting up, going to work, going to school. You just sort of, and financially, people tend to be more stable at that age. Than, I think it makes sense.
It does make sense.
I like how they divided it. It was like ambition, personal. What are the categories? It was like ambition,
family life, happiness, and financial security.
It's like the perfect form pie. I guess you're also less ambitious once you get.
What about health? Surely health should be up there. That's quite an important.
I feel like they're missing out.
Yeah, they're definitely missing
something.
Relationships. That was a mention. Yeah.
Volunteer work, your society.
Exactly. It is fascinating how they group these things together. Okay, parents may insist that they treat all their children equally, but a study has found that sons and daughters really are raised in strikingly different ways. Researchers found that daughters are given more advice on dating and relationships, as well as getting more protection and financial support. Sons, meanwhile, are encouraged to be competitive and more sporty and are allowed more sexual freedoms. It also found parents tend to take on different roles, with fathers preferring to spend time practicing sports and teaching practical or mechanical skills. Mothers, meanwhile, provided more emotional support, relationship advice, and wisdom or life guidance. I mean, it all
total
sounds
inverse
very...
in my house.
Really?
I mean, Lottie, sporty, competitive. I mean, not like daddy daughter with, her dad at all. This princess type thing. That just doesn't happen.
No.
And my son we are completely the inverse of that. I think the only thing that I would say is true in that, and I think this is obviously like hardwired. So it's not a societal thing. Is women tend to nurture more.
Give the advice.
Dad's bond through play, physical affection. In terms of oxytocin, women bond through nurturing, emotional support, hugging, touching. That's like a biological thing.
Yeah.
So that when it says about the women take on the relationship role, the men play and do all that sort of stuff, that's as old as time, really, because you're hardwired to be that way. But I think in terms of this, like, if you have a son, go and play sport, because if a girl's really good at sport, well, then you go and be the sports person.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you know what I mean? You can't be too sort of fixed in that.
Did you have? You've got a sister, haven't you?
Yes.
So you don't have the experience of a brother.
No, but I think we were both always brought up to do whatever we wanted to, play with whatever we wanted to do. Any sports. I was always encouraged to climb up climbing frames and jump off them and go in the sea.
And you're still doing it now.
Exactly. And my favourite thing to do was to build with blocks and Lego and do logic puzzles. So I probably had more stereotypical boys.
Yeah, my daughter loved hobbies. Love Lego, and my son couldn't give up keys.
Yeah. And then when I went to university, I would do skateboarding club and things like that. So I haven't been brought up like that at all. But maybe the stereotypical parent does, or maybe it was back in the day. But I don't think that's the case anymore.
No.
And if it is the case, I think parents need to think what they're giving to their children and why are they putting their children into boxes, because I think I was quite lucky that we weren't brought up to be in particular boxes.
That's really good.
I think most of my friends who've got like parent friends, I think you just play to your kids' strengths. What do they want to do, what are they good at, what makes them happy. You can't sort of be just different because he's a boy. I think that's quite, like you said, quite outdated. Girls get relationship advice, boys don't cry, and it just doesn't really happen. Not in my socio-economic group, it doesn't happen.
But in terms of the choices that kids make, you still have in toy shops girls' toys that are generally pink and boys' toys that are generally army related and blue and whatever. It's very, there is always in toy shops girls section, boys section.
Yeah, but the key is
very stereotypical.
If your kids go in and go, I'm going to go straight to like Action Man, they'll find whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah,
so you've got the parental input.
Or if your boy wants a doll and
no, that's not happening. Joking. Hannah's face.
I was like, what did she just say?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, they should, be able to make their own choices, shouldn't they? The kind of toys
they do.
That
they find their own way. You've got to let them be who they are.
Yeah. Do you have siblings, Veronica?
Yeah, I have a sister. I would say that we both did sports since we were like 4, but we did do sparts. I call them sparts.
What's sparts?
Sports that are more artistic. Any sport, to me, any sport that is judged with scorecards is a sport, in my opinion.
I've never
because
heard that.
It's not timed. So I think like anything that, or it's
like gymnastics and all that sort of,
I just call them sparts. So we've always done sparts. So it's like so I think that's part of it is like my mom wanted to be around there. Initially, when it comes to it, your mom is the person, or your dad, whoever is going to take you to those things is probably going to enjoy those things more. Whoever has a little bit more influence or time or wants to go to the practices. Yeah. Unless they're like, oh, I want to do this and that. Yeah, I guess that's so. I reflect on that. I have some students that are, they're different cultures and nobody plays soccer. She said she's in 3rd grade. She was like, girls don't play soccer. What? We were talking. I was like, yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
And because she's a rhythmic gymnast and she's very, very high up in rhythmic gymnast. And no, they don't. And she's very, And I was like, yeah, they do. And it was totally opened her mind, and that was her opinion. Oh, wow.
It wasn't that she was being prejudiced. She genuinely didn't know that girls play football.
She was like, no, I think there's like 2 people in my school. What? And I was like, no. So, I mean, it just depends on
there are actual leagues. There's a World Cup.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we're going to get controversial now after the last break.
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to the last part of today's Women Talk with Nikki Broom, Veronica Dalcero and Katie Rowlands. This is controversial now, so be aware of, well, you don't need to be aware if you don't want to be aware, but who might be listening and different opinions and all that kind of thing. Okay, so it's got ABC in the article here. It says A is for agender, B is for bigender, and C is for cigender. I've never even heard of that. The headline reads, it'll stretch your credulity to the limit, but this ABC really is from a book for 5-year-olds. And it's just one of 60 named in a damning report into how the trans lobby is hijacking primary school reading with its sex change propaganda. There's a book here called Grandad's Pride. There's a book here with a baby on the front saying bye-bye binary. There's another one, Julian is a mermaid, with a boy who's a mermaid, etc., etc. Thoughts?
I think that's far too young to be reading things about that.
Yeah?
Personally, yes.
What sort of age do you think? It's a difficult one to put.
12.
Okay. I did, just putting out there, I did an interview a couple of days ago this week with a lovely gentleman, he and his surrogate, 2 guys who are very well known online. They are what are they called? I can't remember. The Travelling Gays. That's what they're called, the Travelling Gays.
I've seen them on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
The American.
No, English.
No, okay.
No, English. So 2 guys who are married and desperately wanted to have a family, and he's in his late 30s, and when he was growing up, men weren't allowed to get married, they weren't allowed to start a family, and in his lifetime, both of those things have changed, which is amazing for him. And they've got a surrogate. They have a surrogate who is American, and she desperately wanted to be a surrogate.
Wow.
But so she had somebody else's egg, so it's not her egg, and their sperm implant, and she's had one baby and then twins for them. And they've written a book all about it. It was amazing. So there are families that are going to school and the kids have got 2 dads or 2 mums.
But I think it's got to be described in an age-appropriate way. So my uncle's gay, and I remember asking about it, and then my parents would just say, oh, well, they live together and that's their setup. You just got to think about using the right terminology. I don't think a 5-year-old needs to know the word agender and bigender or someone who wants to be a mermaid. Well, if that's make-believe, I think that's fine. But I just think I think obviously these things will come about and children will be interested and ask about these things, but it's got to be age-appropriate and it's got to be often led by the child, not just forced upon you through a book which is for such a young person. That's what my opinion is.
Yeah.
I think that having looked at the ages of all the books listed in the article, it's like 3+, 5+. Again, linked to what you're saying, they're very young. And I think the sadness around this is the kids are so unassuming and unbiased and don't even doesn't even affect them at that age.
No.
They go,
No, they don't
I'm going
care.
back to my mummy and I've got another mummy. Okay, bye.
That's fine.
There's absolutely no, having been through this in my own
Judgment,
case,
yeah.
no judgment, total acceptance. That's fine. Even if your mum's a mermaid, they're so innocent.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing about them that needs
That's
to know at
judging
this
or-
age
yeah.
anything about that, because it doesn't affect their lives. It doesn't, and even if it does in the classroom, say with parents or friends or whatever, it's not on their radar.
No.
They're not. They don't go, well, hang on. So what you've got? They just don't think like that at that age. They just
Yeah. If one of their friends has got two mums, then they go, oh,
they don't,
nice.
They don't question it. No. It's just,
Yeah.
there's so much innocence at that 3 year. I mean, 3 years old. They want to dress as Spider-Man and want to be a unicorn. Do you know what I mean? They don't. It's too young. It's too young to be introduced. And it's quite a complex thing to understand as well.
A lot of adults don't understand the whole non-binary and all that kind of stuff. Adults struggle to get it.
It's true, and then you impose it. Then what happens is, in my experience, when they've been exposed to things at school, they have no understanding. They don't know why they've been taught it. They come home, and then you, as the parent, are then left to unpick a topic. And a lot of these parents were saying they didn't want their children to be taught at this age. Not a different age, like it can be age appropriate.
Yes.
Then you, as a parent, you're left with something that you didn't necessarily want them to be exposed to. Then you have to unpick it in an age-related way and understand something and explain something to them that you didn't have a choice that they were being exposed to. So it's a very, very difficult subject. I'm not saying they don't need to have an awareness of it as they get older, but I think the key is they have to have the cognitive function to understand what they're being told, so then they can take it, digest it, learn from it, then discuss it with their parents, rather than they told me this at school in this book, and granddad's, like the granddad one, the guy's wearing bondage clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, so what 3-year-old's going to get, he's wearing, I don't know, a leather pair of pants or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's just it's not age appropriate. They're too young.
I mean, I'm free for freedom of speech, and you can write whatever you want to, and you can publish whatever book you want to, and that's totally fine. And it's up to the parents to have that. I think you have to be careful with things like imposing and hijacking. These words that we throw around that clearly have a negative connotation. But what is at the basis of this is people wanting having a story about mommy and mommy be just as normal as having a story as mommy and daddy, and feeling those people and having those resources for people. Saying the words imposed is saying subtly or not so subtly that it is not normal, or is that is a situation that should be, you know what I mean, is not accepted.
No, but in the article it did say though that the parents didn't know the kids were being taught it, so then they were coming home in the article saying we didn't agree to this. So there is an imposition to a certain level.
Shouldn't be that maybe that shouldn't be part of the curriculum of what this community says, but I guess that's a different sort of thing. Also, you don't have a book that's, to say A, B, using that terminology is a little silly. It's like, we don't have little kid books that's like N is for Nazi, and right? Like, we don't have that either. For a reason, because they don't know that, and it's like, what? But to say that, like, this is not either, this type of love cannot be included in an innocent way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Mother
do.
and father love is innocent, but for some reason that
but then if you normalise it, you don't have to say at school at 3, mother and father love is normal. That's what we do in order to because you don't actually actively have to say that. So if you're including everything, you don't have to say that about any couple relationship, do you?
Yeah.
So therefore, by making a point of it as an extra thing, conversely or paradoxically implies that it's not the standard.
Sure.
So if you kind of go, we all love each other regardless. You don't need to go have a book about a separate loves, because love is love.
Yeah, I get the point that lots of authors who I've interviewed are writing books not necessarily for 3-year-olds. That's the sort of issue here. But writing books about people like themselves.
Yeah.
Whether it's people of a certain race, people of a certain colour, certain religion, certain background, certain sexuality, all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of the time people have grown up and they're reading books about white kids that are the heroines and all that kind of stuff. So they want to write books where where they have people of their own colour and their own faith as the heroine, that kind of stuff. So I totally get that.
But that I get, but that's not. But they're not 3.
No,
they've lived a life and gone. I want to be a role model for a girl who, when I was 14, there was not, I don't know, a girl of my colour, creed, whatever. that's fine. But like for this article is relating to like 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it's in the context of that setting, that is incredibly young.
I think
to be exposed
the fact
to it.
that this granddad is in bondage gear,
weird. It's
even if
weird.
it was a
Yeah.
heterosexual
It's like,
relationship,
what?
why does a
Right.
3-year-old need to be aware of bondage
But
gear?
That just
That's
demonstrates
totally you know
But
what I
then
mean?
I guess I'm also having to question, why is this article? I want to know more about how the prevalence of this is that, because I work in schools and I can tell you I've never ever seen
No, I know
this
that
in
often-
my lifetime.
I
and so
always
I've never
wonder
heard
where-
of it.
yeah.
So
And
I
does
wonder why this has become a.
And does it say the word agender and
Right.
bigender in the books? Is that just what the article says?
Oh, a lot of it
So it's
will
the
be
name of
the
the book?
article.
Yes,
won't it?
probably.
But, yeah.
It's got the list of books at the
Because
bottom of the article.
there's a difference between saying, oh, you know, two people grow up and sometimes they've got two mums, and that's quite an innocent and age-appropriate thing to say, whereas saying, oh, someone's agender. And
Oh yeah, there is
therefore,
the very first book, the ABC of gender identity, and it teaches you that A is for agender, B is for that is the
Okay.
book, and it shows you about all the different genders.
yes.
Maybe it's a book that it's written for if your kid is displaying or asking or this or that, then maybe
but
it's
but
something
you don't ask that
that
at 3 or 4. You just
some
you
kids
just-
do, not at
Oh,
3 or
no,
4, but
I don't agree with that. I just don't agree. A 3-year-old goes, do grandfathers wear bondage clothes? What's the cisgender mummy? A 3-year-old would just not say that. I just don't agree with that. A 3-year-old would not know about a cisgender bondage. I remember Lottie was taught at school when she was like 10 about lipstick lesbians at school, and she was like, "Mummy, what's that?" And they just don't know things like that. At
I have
3.
no idea
They
what a
just-
lipstick lesbian is.
Well, I was like, no, a lesbian that wears lipstick?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know. But what I mean is, it's like they're just 3-year-olds, you know, they just
A
don't.
lot of this language comes from adults.
It's
That's what
adult.
you're trying to
Cisgender
say.
is not a 3-year-old
Kids,
term.
yeah.
And I don't care how grown up you are. 3-year-olds just don't say
right.
that.
You wouldn't, but I mean, maybe later, whatever, they can write whatever they want to write. It's up to you to show it, not show it, you know, and focus on what you want to be focusing
the
on.
choice
The
at
schools
home.
showing it,
This
that's
is when
the
it's the
thing.
schools.
The
The
schools
parents
showing it.
haven't had the choice, and that makes it difficult, doesn't it? You send your kids to school hoping that they're going to be taught the right kind of things that you approve of and you're okay with. So the difficult things are when kids are coming home and saying this is
Or
what
you
we're
have a
taught,
choice,
and
I
the
guess.
Parents
Yeah.
don't
But also,
agree.
I mean, yeah, I can tell you that, like, from watching homeschool, there's a huge movement of homeschooling because of these kinds of reasons.
Yes,
and I can tell you
that
that
makes sense.
it would be equally disparaging of what they are taught, and equally. I think people would feel the exact same way if you see the books that they're
Literally
writing.
in COVID, never
and you're like,
We
my
are at the end of the
gosh.
show. Thank you, ladies, very much. Thank you, Nikki, Veronica, and Katie.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this program, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels, and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.